The Injury is the 12th episode of the second season of The Office. This is directed by Bryan Gordon. And as always, there will be spoilers as I talk about what happens, but honestly, there's not a lot that I want to say. I found this to be incredibly boring. I thought this was a very, very dull episode of The Office. And I feel like this happens every maybe 3 or 4 episodes. There'll just be an episode that I do not care about. So it's not the biggest surprise in the world, but it's also a bit of a shame because I've been on quite a good streak with The Office so far, and I've really thoroughly enjoyed it. So having a weak link every now and then is fine. It's not necessarily that it's bad. It's not unwatchable. I just didn't find any of it funny. And it was just a little bit awkward at times as well. So I will talk about a few things that happened, but in general, my thoughts don't go much further than I watched it, it was fine. I would skip it if I was binge watching this season again. It starts off with Michael phoning Pam. He's injured himself. He burnt his foot on a George Foreman grill because he was making himself breakfast in bed. A little bit funny as a scenario. Obviously horrendous. Don't do that. He turns the grill on, goes back to sleep and wakes up to the smell of bacon. Please don't do that. So obviously not good advice. Hopefully his burnt foot would dissuade anybody from doing that. But as a scenario for Michael, interesting enough. And Dwight, panicked, wants to rush to Michael to help him. Michael wants anybody but Dwight there. And in the process of rushing, Dwight crashes his car just outside the car park and ends up vomiting all over his car, which I didn't really want to see. And then Michael comes into the office. He's got bubble wrap on. I did like Jim popping his bubble wrap. I thought that bit was not too bad. Not laugh out loud funny or anything, but it put a smile on my face. And then Michael gets stuck in the bathroom, goes on a rant about disability when he falls off the toilet and nobody came to help him. And then Dwight ends up going to the hospital. Before that, it seems like Pam and Dwight are friends, and Pam is panicking about this. Michael then goes to the hospital with Dwight because Dwight got concussion, and then Pam ends up telling Angela that Dwight's going to be fine, which was, I guess, interesting. Not the most fascinating, but acknowledging that she knows there's clearly something between Angela and Dwight was, I guess, an interesting step forward. And that's basically it. That's the episode. There is nothing else about it that I think is worth mentioning. I did not find it interesting. I didn't find it funny. The highlight was Jim popping Michael's bubble wrap, and that's it. There's nothing else there. So this may be the most boring Office discussion that I've ever done. But that is because, for me, it's one of the most boring episodes. I didn't care for it. It didn't offer me anything. Watchable, yes, I got through it, but I wouldn't watch it again. The Injury, for me, is not a great episode. It does have 9 out of 10 on IMDb, which is across 9.1 thousand reviews and ratings. So needless to say, a lot of people love it. So don't take my opinion if you're considering watching it. But I'd love to know what you think of it, if you liked it. If you did, fantastic. Personally, I just didn't. The Injury, for me, was just not a good episode of The Office.